we mentioned Victor Boniface earlier. Let's talk about it. In the January transfer window earlier this year, the move to Al-Nassr broke down. And something similar has happened again, this time over medical issues with AC Milan, confirmed on Sunday by Fabrizio Romano. Sasha Toveneri actually reported it first, so I have to give you credit. That Milan were not convinced with what they saw in the medical, even though the deal had been agreed. Initial loan and option to buy for 20 million, we never paid it. And before we get into the conversation, I want to clear something up. Because we were in the media, we write, so we know that it's probably easier to say failed medical instead of explaining what actually happened. I don't think anybody actually fails medical. For you to fail a medical as a football player, it would mean that you cannot play football for anybody else.
Yeah.
It would mean that you are basically, they've told you can't. If you play, you might die. That's what I consider failing medical. Because if you look at every player that has ever failed a medical before he move, it's not that they stop playing. And so I think when they say a player fails medical, it's a case of risk assessment. It's a case of this issue that you have. It's not that the club you're coming from does not have it. They does not know that you have, because it's not just new signs that do medical. Every club does yearly medical for everybody in the team to assess their players and know where they are physically. So it's recurring knee problems were not news. We know when they had those two ACL injuries. We know of his injury history. So that's not exactly news. It's just a case of Milan feeling like this knee has not fully healed and it might back up again soon. So we don't see the point of taking you on the 1 year loan if you are going to be injured. If you are going to be injured for the entirety of that 1 year, we now still have to be paying your salary. So from their perspective, it's a case of we don't want to take the risk. Doesn't mean that the player's career is over or whatever, blah blah blah. So I don't like that. That's one of my pet peeves as a sports writer. I don't like that term, failed medical. I don't like it at all. But first of all, what's your thoughts on the broken down move? Because I was really looking forward to see what it would do at AC Milan.
Nigerian players have had a rough summer transfer.
Yep. Rough last 2 summers.
Like, oh my God, from Victor Osimhen to Ademola Lookman to this whole Boniface issue, man, it's tough. But the good news is there's always the Turkish league. It's always the Turkish league. How about we create a competition among Nigerian top scorers in the Turkish league? Osimhen with Galatasaray, Onuachu with Trabzonspor. And let's find.
We already have Tammy Abraham and Besiktas now.
Tammy Abraham is at Besiktas. Let's get Victor Boniface. Let him to go to AU Sport. Or
I can't tell you if you are serious.
Go to AU Sport.
I cannot tell you if you are serious.
Adana. And go to just find somewhere and plug yourself. Is it not tough? You rebuild your reputation there. You come back to the German league and you'll be serviceable. Because the simple truth is this: I feel that, like, for some reason, Nigerian players, and this is maybe not on them, maybe this is based on people that advise them, but I feel that, like, sometimes they let things overcook. I honestly believe that Ademola Lookman should have done everything in his power to leave Atalanta last season.
Yeah, but try to be a gentleman about it.
Last season, I also believe that, like, Osimhen 2 seasons ago, when PSG came and PSG were willing to PSG already agreed a deal with Napoli. It was his wages were the issue. PSG was still going to pay more than whatever Premier League team was going to pay for them. Because obviously they have they are backed by state. Whatever all that Chelsea were telling him to slash his wages to, what was that? 140,000 pounds. I'm pretty sure PSG was not telling him to slash to 140. I am pretty sure of that. But they were obviously asking him to slash, but maybe not to that. Just go to PSG. Probably be an European champion right now. So I feel that like Nigerian players allow things overcook. And every case is peculiar. Like every case is not the same.
Yeah, so like that's what I just
Every case is not the same. But in this instance, in Boniface instance, he had an unfortunate injury because, and obviously he came back. He was still very effective towards the end of last year until he went out of favor with Xabi Alonso. So I still believe
after the failed move to Al-Nassr.
after the failed, the failed move to Al-Nassr. Also, sometimes when these clubs tell you that it's time to move on from their club, maybe in your new club you can get like, okay, what's an equitable compromise? What is like a middle ground? Can I sign a 2-year contract in Saudi Arabia and come back to Europe if possible? Like something like that. Like this Saudi Arabia club may give you that leeway. They okay, that is what is going to get you to come. So like all these issues, I feel Victor Boniface is just an unfortunate situation. Obviously, I feel he will still find his space.
So we're talking about the 24-year-old with 3 years left on his current contract with Leverkusen. So first of all, Leverkusen are not necessarily desperate to sell. They would like to sell, but it's not a case of.
No, I think Ten Hag wants to get rid of him.
Yeah, because Ten Hag has been on a rebuilding tier. He's pretty much sold everybody at Leverkusen at this point. How many people have left Leverkusen this summer? Jonathan Tah went to Bayern. Goalkeeper Radetsky left.
Wentz left to Liverpool.
Vets to Liverpool. Frimpong to Liverpool.
Went to Liverpool also.
Xhaka to Sunderland.
That's true.
Yeah, there will be quite a few. We are hearing Pierre Nkapie, the centre back, is probably heading to Premier League as well with Chelsea and Manchester United. Chelsea. So like, I don't think it's a Boniface thing. But if they are unfortunately not able to move him, I don't think it's also a case of saying like a Garnacho or Sancho where you have to sit the entire year. I don't think so. If you are not able to move him, you use it because that's a 24-year-old that has been the club's top scorer.
Especially now that they are struggling.
Yeah, so from that perspective, and again from Boniface's perspective, again, like I said, medical. Not the as long as it's not like you have a career-threatening ailment or injury, you'll be fine. You saw in 2014 when Liverpool turned down Lloyd Graham because he failed the medical, and he literally said someone tried to sign him, and he helped us win the league. And the Liverpool that were holding on to the medical, they don't win it. So like, AC Milan have an history of doing this. By the way. Also, I think was it 2013 or also 2014? Ali Sissoko from Porto. They cancelled the move because he had dental issues.
I think he went to Liverpool.
He had already played for Liverpool at that point.
He had
already played for Liverpool at that point.
What's Crystal Palace?
Yeah, no, Aston Villa.
He
ended up going to Aston Villa. So, like, failing medical is not the end of the world. Then Baba failed medical at Stoke City, ended up moving to Newcastle and then Chelsea to have. So, like, yes, Ruud failed his medical. Most people don't know because lots of people started watching football. But Ruud was actually supposed to sign for United a year before he signed. But he failed his medical at first. And then the same club went back for him. And when he did this again, it passed. So that's just about the case of risk assessment and how much risk we're willing to take. The risk the club is not willing to take. Another club will be willing to take it. So if Leverkusen are desperate about moving on Boniface, they'll find solution. Because again, 24 years old with massive upside. It's the kind of striker that football clubs are looking for these days. Big, strong, can link up, can score.
It's the new age kind of striker.
Yes, new age. Can
hold up.
If you see his comps, he's always capable of the spectacular. And we'll give you a decent amount. He will not score 30, 40 goals this season. But we'll give you a solid 20 if he's fit. If you give a solid 20 goals and solid 13, 14, that's already 35 goals on a regular season, like regardless of where he's playing. We've seen him do this for USG in Belgium. We've seen him do this in Bodo Glimt. We've seen him do this now for Bayern, especially in that Europa League winning season. That title winning season, they didn't win Europa League, but that title winning season. So like, I don't think it's. I hope for me to know this, I'm sure the player and his representatives also know that this is not as big as an issue. So I hope it's not affecting him in any way. But let's speak about the social media shenanigans because Victor Boniface will shenanigan on social media. That one is normal for him.
Is that he told Fabrizio to take down the post?
Yeah. Let me quickly find see if I can find the controversial post. But I think we could send it to me. I'll check my Twitter or something. But yeah, just the basic gist is Victor Boniface was referring to Nigerians the same way he always does. Just talking to Nigerians generally. Yeah, I found it. So the post which has now been deleted said Boniface is not serious. He dey everywhere. I dey club like Leverkusen and club like Milan wants me, and I no serious. So if I serious, na club for Jupiter I go. That's a very funny. Yeah, you have to give it to like I'm funny to that. Clowns everywhere. If I don't serious and I did this level, make I remain like that. So from a Nigerian perspective, you can get what that's about. It's clearly just the type of people that are criticizing him. But because it's in the middle of a transfer, conversation. Your name is in the news. So on the same day that your name is in the news for supposedly failing the medical, then you put a post mostly in pidgin that European media cannot read, but they can see Leverkusen and Milan clearly listed. Of course, Fabrizio Romano took it and reposted it as transfer news because
that's his job, though.
Yeah, like you said, that's his job. Fabrizio Romano's post was Victor Boniface's statement after a similar deal collapsed with his medical. Clouds. He can't put clouds everywhere in quotes. so it's very easy for non-pidgin speaking people to look at this and think that whether he's calling one of the two clubs clowns or the two clubs clowns or the situation calling it clownish or whatever. But from a Nigerian perspective, it's clear that's something. I give him a lot of flack for social media activity. But for this one, I don't think I blame Boniface much. I think that's the misunderstanding, lost in translation. You can blame him for probably why are you on social media in the middle of a transfer list and posting this knowing how it could be taken. You would expect that you should have the maturity and foresight to foresee this kind of thing because you are not only tweeting to Nigerians. When you post something on the internet, you are an international player, so you have an international audience. And international media will pick it up. So even though he has told Fabrizio to delete it, and even himself has deleted it, the picture has already circulated everywhere. I've seen it on other outlets, so you cannot tell everybody to delete it. So you now have to now be explaining the context to everybody. But how do you feel about the shenanigans?
I think the first thing about me and my analysis of Victor Boniface is that if that is what worked for you and has taken you to the level that you are, just continue doing it. For me, I feel he has a different approach towards being a professional footballer. And sometimes that is a good thing. I feel that like in that case, we should have people who have a dedicated interest towards protecting his brand in a way that like, okay, this is the kind of guy that we are dealing with. What can we do as his management team to protect him from certain things? So we create a team whereby in certain situations we are the ones that are putting out statements on his behalf. I literally just did a story that was the day before yesterday on Saturday about him appearing on TikTok live with some mysterious ladies. And when I saw it, I thought it was literally a joke first, and the girls were like, my name is Akman. Who gave you Akman? How does an international footballer become Akman? Like, it's just weird.
Apparently, he claimed to be a reverse cyber security. I didn't watch the video because I have things that I'm doing.
No, but I saw the video and I wrote the story and I was like, this guy, and they went on into bargaining about how much is he going to take. Like, see, there are some things that you are like.
We need to give. I'm not giving him grace for this. I'm just explaining context.
I understand that there's a jovial attitude.
He's a young guy in a foreign country with not much to do. He's just doing whatever. He's also gaming. Actually, funny enough, this recent show that I just started
with Ndidi and Onyeka.
What's it called? I'm not sure. Culture League. I'm not sure. I genuinely forgot. But I always remember it as a name not say parody, but pretty much a copy of the show. With what LeBron was doing, what LeBron James was doing with the show. But it's a good show, and that's also giving me insight into how he thinks. Giving because I don't know. I know we like to put it on Nigerian players that they are mature, everybody's lying about their age. I can't speak to that. From what we know, he's clearly a young person. Even from the way he talks, from the way he dresses, he's a young person in a foreign land without that many friends. He clearly has more fun when he's in Nigeria, but when he's abroad, you can get only you and start doing things like going on random TikTok lives and introduce yourself.
You just find the guy of people who control politics.
He was just doing whatever, streaming games, whatever. So like there's not a lot to do for a young man in Leverkusen. So I give him grace for that.